People think they're relevant, and they are, but all they're doing is making noise. It doesn't mean they're good. Have you done something that stands the test
Jamie,
of time?
I was producing a small little thing a couple of years ago, and this is Jared here who kind of tells me what I can and can't do with, within the digital technical limitations of my hopes.
I don't, because he doesn't listen.
And I was working on this other thing, and I'm talking to this guy who was like the Jared in the equation. He's like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. I'm talking to this guy, and he was so locked into his format. And then he goes like this, Netflix won't take it. And I went, what does that mean? He went, we're shooting this in a way that's required. Listen, not because Netflix has already bought it, but so that if they do, it's already done. I'm like, I almost puked when this guy said it, because he was so already there into that freaking vapor trail of zombieism. You know what I mean? It was just weird. But our legacy could be being honest about that shit.
Yeah,
I was talking to the next generation about, like, don't get caught up in how fast it's going. I'm meeting young people now, right? I was talking to him, and he's a smart kid, but I would like just tell a story. Yeah, man, I was there, and I was in the triple canopy foliage of Phuket, Thailand, and there was Steve Burham, the cinematographer for what's his name? I mentioned him earlier. The movie I got fired from with Sean Penn and
Casualties
Michael J.
of War.
You got fired on that?
Yeah, I got fired.
But weren't you in the final movie?
Maybe a couple shots. John C. Reilly replaced my role.
I swear I thought you.
No, but it was perfect. It was perfect because I had turned down a movie called Last Exit to Brooklyn, and I went to did that, and they fired me, and I got paid anyway, and then came back and still did Last Exit to Brooklyn with like Sam Rockwell and a bunch of really cool people. But that's what it means. See how we're talking about the old stuff. And I think I'm just like right now, Jamie, I'm getting ready to like stick to my guns, and I think the money's going to come like small. And if I could just make a couple of movies, writer, producer, director, like I loved your movie last year. What's it called, the vampire thing?
Don't Suck. Which is a weird movie to make in this town.
But I got it. I watched enough of it. It was funny.
How did you find it?
I'm down with the algorithm, bro. Okay? I'm one with the algorithm.
That's so cool.
I'm one with
And I usually wear the hat, but today the hat didn't snap, so I didn't wear it.
Don't Suck?
Yeah, I always wear the hat.
But the whole thing's hilarious. The double entendre, all of that. But it was nice to see you after all these years. I don't know what the budget was. It doesn't matter. You put your name on, written, directed. You were saying with that project, this is funny to me.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Can I comment on that? Let me tell you. So I'm trying to give you the condensed version because I know.
Take your time.
I know how the synapses.
We can talk as long as you can stay, Daddy-o.
I love that. Is that I was just an amazing comedian, Rick D'Elia, wrote it, and he's a Boston head who's been in LA forever, and he gives me the script about 5 years ago in the green room of this is how we were talking about how you love things, of the Tropicana at the Laugh Factory. Okay. So look how this all ties together, right? The Laugh Factory in the Tropicana was the last room that Rodney Dangerfield was his room.
Oh, wow.
So not only do you have a lot of Rodney stuff.
I
know. He's Mount
No,
Rushmore.
but I watch the old, like I go on and watch like when he was on Carson.
Yes, I know.
That's my favorite.
I do too. So then we have that. Then you have all of the energy of him, right? So Harry, the owner of the factory in Vegas, would always encourage everyone to come. So the green room on a Saturday night, if you're headlining, is every comic in town. So it would be 30 people, and he'd have something called karaoke. Everyone sing. Comedian Rick gives me the script. Great, dude. Send it to my email. I'm 3 Chablis deep. I did my shows. He texts me, did you read it? Like 8 months later, I'm like, yeah, bro, I read it, blah, blah, blah. Just make me an offer, right? And then, but I never read it because I don't have time to read it for free. Like, that's the thing. Like, so many people are like, read this. Okay, can I have 3 hours of my life? So I go. He then makes me an offer. It's 2019 now. He says, that movie I'm making, I want you in it. And he makes me a real offer with real back end to the point where I really didn't have to negotiate.
Good.
So I give it to my lawyer. I screw my agents because they stink. And I said, dude, do this. He did a couple little finagles. And I said, this is fair. And he said, this is our budget, which is about $750,000. And he said, we're going to shoot in Vegas. Boom. He starts casting people. Boom, boom, boom. All independent.
Right.
Well, we get a great director, Raja. My other buddy, producer Jay Davis. A lot of us. Long story boring is we're about to go. Pandemic hits. So then it's off for a year and a half. And then the first thing that the summer of 2021, clubs started having me, but I would travel the country, but only like do outside shows and all this stuff. So then Vegas was given all these different provisions and deals and all this stuff. And so we ended up shooting the movie in the fall of 2021 in Vegas and had the run of the old Aladdin, which is now the SLS, for about a month.
Right.
And it was like, we had to do their COVID, but they were happy to have a production. We were happy to have a hotel. There was amazing film crews out there, and we just did it for a month from there all the way up to Pahrump. We took Nevada by storm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was completely independent, like literally money from people.
Don't suck.
Yeah.
So,
it was literally a guy. I have a joke.
So it was
a sandwich guy.
I got a little confused. Forgive me, because I got bad ears too. So forgive me. It's my bad. But they offered for you to write and direct it?
No, they offered me to star in it, and I said I will star in it if I. It shouldn't be good. It was literally called 2 Pint Minimum, and I'm like, this is the cheesiest, but it's a funny pun, right?
But I'm glad I asked. Go ahead.
And I'm like, this is so dumb. And I read the first page, and I'm like, what is this? Dude, I'm not kidding you. Page 2 on, I couldn't put it down. It was because it's the movie's about a guy who was a comedian who never made it, who's a lifer, who discovers that his opener is a vampire. Now, on paper, that sounds so dumb.
Right.
But it's not, because there's levels to it. And there's like, it has to do with like, what will you do to make it? What are your morals?
Right.
Hollywood is 100% vampiric. If you want to go down the conspiracy realm, the blood of the youth, revive the old. There's like how people suck off us vampirically for our talent.
That's enough, Jamie.
Yeah, I know.
Don't go any further, for God's sake.
So there was a level, but we played it very real. We played it like Mammoth with a crazy premise. And that's why I said this is going to be good. And we ran all around.
I got to watch it.
Thank you.
I literally went back and forth. There was like a thing that was like a story on it that had like multiple clips. There was some write-up on it, right? So you have the trailer and the rest of it. So I watched as much as I could. But I got to just say this because I'm more actor than funny guy. And at the same time, I live every day for my granddaughter. Just like my granddaughter is like the only person.
Wait, you live for your granddaughter. Your other daughter's like, what about me?
Right, exactly.
Do I exist?
Well, my daughter Eli, who is the mother of this child, my granddaughter is Iris. But I just say that because for you it has to be real. For you it has to be that thing that tickles your funny bone. It has to be the same passion vibration as the stand-up. It has, there's a connectivity to you in your creativity. It has to connect to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the same. You know what I mean? So now, like, what's real to me is like not grown-ups, right? My granddaughter's like, she's so honest. She says this. So I try to keep my creative brain in a place of that innocence. You know what I mean? As best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the old school. That comes from the morals. That comes from how we were raised. That comes from knowing now, hey, man, this phone's just frying my brain. Let me get off it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most people can't even figure that out, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's sketchy. It's really weird. As you reach for your phone.
I pushed it away.
Okay, you fixed it.
You're right.
I thought you checked a message real quick.
Demon spawn.
Again, it just gets back to I can't wait to see the film just because it was nice to see you with your acting
Thank you.
to be in something. I was in Biodome. I've done some, kind of, funky situational stuff that if you understand what's funny and timing.
No, you've done the deepest of the deep and the wild comedy of the wild. So
Kinda, sorta.
that's an amazing kaleidoscope.
Yeah, I got a weird range and all that stuff, which is what I really
That's
wanted
what
in my
that's
career.
what
You know, what I mean?
acting
Listen,
should
dude,
be.
I did Usual Suspects, and like all these dudes came up to me like, "So, what do you want to do now? You want to be like Tom?" I was like, in the psychology of it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to be like a Tom Cruise, but what if he played Barney Rubble?" And they were like, "No, Tom could never play Barney."
Yeah.
And then Tom does the freaking war movie with the freaking cameo, the what's it called cameo?
Les
And
Grossman. Mm-hmm.
I could watch it over. It's beyond.
Yeah.
So that's the juxtaposition I refer to. It was cool to watch in this little movie. You put your name to a certain way, that it was what it was. But then in the acting, you were like whispering and keeping it subtle and like, because you were performing a character in a storyline that you were trying to make people understand. If you come for this full ride, it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got out of just the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
but not because it's cheesy and it's obvious and it's being hokey on purpose. But the commitment of the performances are kind of fun to watch.
Well, thank you.
That's what I dig.
That's what it is. It's a great director told me once that it's like how to make something real is if you make a big world, but you play it real, then it grounds it. And so that's what I try to
Capture that, however.
Yeah, like that's why, you watch something and you love it because you're like they're playing it real, even if it's a wild premise. So that to me is everything. Grounded, even if it's psychotic.
So bad it's good. It's twisted